In the past, men built entire homes with their bare hands. They raised 6 children, ran businesses, worked the land, died for the people, and still they would show up every day with unshakable discipline. Now, we can't resist Instagram for 20 minutes. We set goals in January and abandon them in February. We need motivational videos just to get out of bed. I think the obvious question here is, what happened? I mean, what has happened to masculinity? And I've become obsessed with this question. I stopped listening to self-improvement gurus. I ignored the life hacks, the morning routines, the productivity systems, because the thing is, everything we've been taught about discipline is backwards. Most modern discipline content is designed to keep you dependent on motivation. You have to come back for more, dependent on content, dependent on someone else telling you who to be. I want to be the man able to build houses with my bare hands. And so I decided to go back to principles that have actually lasted. And I found something that honestly made me angry. The men who built discipline before modern convenience didn't rely on motivation at all. They relied on habit, need, everything rooted in scripture and philosophy. And they would go on to practice it every day because they felt it was a way of life, it was a culture. So today I want to walk you through 7 ancient habits, proven across centuries, that build unshakable discipline from the inside out. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. YouTube says more than 60% of you guys watching are not subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you subscribed right now. Everything on this channel is about becoming a better man, physically, spiritually, and mentally. It's about discussing how we men can get closer to God and realize our fullest potential by doing the hard thing. If that resonates with you, hit the subscribe button right now, and let's get back to the video. Let's start with the most important one. The rule of life. Ancient men didn't wing their days. Monks called it a life rule, a fixed rhythm of prayer, work, rest, and silence. Not because they were extreme, but because they understood something we've forgotten. Chaos destroys discipline. When your days have no structure, your impulses become your master. A simple, repeatable daily rule trains obedience to order, not mood. We need to get to that place where we're able to say, this is what we need to get done, and what are the systems we need to put in place to ensure that this thing gets done. It was hunger that pushed them to go and hunt. It was need that made them to become the backbone of their societies. We need to get to that place where we identify problems and we are eager to fix it. That is the crux of masculinity, setting order to chaos. Ancient habit 2, bodily discipline. The scripture never treated the body as irrelevant. Paul says, I discipline my body and bring it into subjection. Ancient men worked hard, fasted, walked, lifted, labored, not for aesthetics, but for mastery. The body is the first servant that must learn obedience. If you can't say no to comfort, you will never say yes to calling. You need to get to a place where you're able. And this is why on this channel, in my personal life, I advocate for working out. Putting your body under.
Also going to do some with the morning weight, with the so he's going to do off the pin, 3, so 2, and that erect position, making sure that he's more effort. So it's going to be about.
It's very important. Recently, I studied The Prince by Machiavelli, and in that book, he mentioned how it is important for a leader to learn how to hunt, to go into the mountains, and to stay there with his people to understand the lay of the land. Why? So that he's able to defend his people. And this is not everyone on this channel is going to be the president. Not everyone on this channel is going to be in the army or a general. But these are principles you take and you apply them to your life. That in the moment of chaos, in the moment where everything is falling apart and you are struggling to come to terms with what the world would have you do, the first thing you need to do is get to a place where you can center yourself, be in the midst of that thing, and learn how to work hard, learn how to put your body under, learn how to do the difficult thing, right? Because that's the only way you're going to come out the other side. The only way out is through. Otherwise, you're just always going to be mediocre. Ancient habit 3, silence and solitude. See, before noise ruled the world, men spent time alone, not scrolling, not consuming, but thinking. Jesus withdrew into the wilderness. The prophets heard God in quiet, not chaos. Silence confronts you with yourself, and most men avoid it because it exposes weakness. But exposure is where growth begins. You need to get to a place where you're able to command clarity. It is very, very important. You don't do this in the midst of people. The noise distracts you. And we feel this, like we know this. The problem is our world conditions us to treat that noise as normal, as if we don't have the capacity to turn it off. So, someone, as a baby, babies are so sensitive to sound. And the reason I like looking at babies is because they remind me of the original state, right? You walk into a room, a baby hears you walk into the room, or you are yelling loudly, they react, they start to cry, they don't understand what this is. But you leave a baby in that world, and that baby becomes a child, that child becomes a teenager, goes through puberty, adolescence, and then they get used to the noise. The background noise is just a product of their society. And so they have no other way to order themselves. It is in the silence, in that quiet, that we are able to actually think clearly. Something is going wrong. You are saying a bunch of things in reaction to the situation without actually withdrawing yourself from the space to examine what is going on. You're just talking fluff. None of it is going to stick. And none of it can stick because the situation is already chaotic. You are reacting as opposed to being proactive and leading the situation. The only way you can come and lead the situation is by first being removed from the process. So it is very important that we get to a place where as men, for me personally, getting to that place where I'm able to quiet my mind, and in the midst of the chaos and what life is doing, able to focus on the things that are most important and stay there. There's just something peaceful about it. Staying in the places that are most important, staying in the quiet, and building from the quiet. Ancient had before fear of God. Ancient discipline was anchored in reverence, not anxiety but awe. When a man lives as though God is watching, discipline becomes natural. You don't need motivation to act rightly when your conscience is awake. You don't need motivation to take the appropriate steps when you feel like the highest order, the person who, for those who believe in karma, can orient it back to them, is constantly watching. And so that fear, the fear that there is a higher power that calls us to an ideal, keeps us in check. And it's forgotten, it's lost on us now. It's lost on us because in our society, we are now giving to depravity, and we are giving to lasciviousness, the things that call your soul, that anything you feel is okay. Anything you feel is okay is brandished by people who worship themselves as opposed to a higher ideal. And people who worship themselves will do anything for themselves. They do not care about the greater good, the state, the improvement of family, the sustenance of wealth. They don't care about any of that. They're not trying to make an impact. They are trying to make themselves happy. So subscribing to that MO just puts you in their league. Eventually, you get to a place where you start to break down. You start to descend into decrepitude and chaos. Because it's not possible to worship yourself and orient from yourself. Using you as the frame of reference will not lead you to truth. Because you're not being objective. So, the first thing is to place God at the top and to fear God. And to use Him as the only pointer. Only then is a man, all men, able to really see what is most important with reference to the thing that is at the very top. Ancient habit 5, fasting. See, fasting was never about weight loss. It was telling the flesh, you are not in charge. And you can come from this from a religious perspective, but ancient men denied themselves food, comfort, and pleasure, so desire would never rule over them. Part of it was circumstance. The others who gave themselves to austerity were trying to endure discomfort so they could endure life. The benefits of these things are you lose impulses and you transition yourself to a place where you are able to hold on to God. But denial alone is not enough. You must also hold on to the virtues that pushed you towards denial in the first place. Think of it this way. If you start to starve yourself without understanding why you are starving yourself, without telling yourself that this is because you're trying to improve your body, or this is because you're trying to connect deeper with God, then there's no point. There's no orienting. There's no search in the process of starving. There's no meaning to the suffering. And if there's no meaning to the suffering, then you might as well not suffer, because you're not going to learn anything from it. It's not going to change you or radically transform you. If you don't find the meaning, the silver lining in why you are suffering, in why you are fasting, if you don't find the rationale, the virtues, if you don't hold on to those virtues that forced you to endure discomfort and give yourself to austerity to begin with, then there's no point. Because you're never going to learn anything. It's not going to be a transformative process. It's just going to be suffering for the sake of suffering. And anything without utility is useless. Like, anything that has no point, that has no aim, is useless. So don't just engage in it. That being said, habit 5 is not enough. You must also build habit 6. Habit 6 is the duty before emotion. Ancient men didn't ask, how do you feel today? Don't get me wrong, that's important. But the most important thing is, what is required of me? And that orders what path I take. Discipline grows when duty outranks emotion. Feelings change. Obligation becomes your center. It is, what do I need to do? And that was what forced them to, as I mentioned previously, go into the woods to hunt. It's what forced them to build these houses. Necessity is the mother of invention. If you are not in a position where you are looking for things that are obligated of you, and you're giving yourself to those obligations on a daily basis, then you are going to plunge into chaos and decrepitude. Because there's no point for you to order your life. There's no requirement of you. Nothing is required of you. So you might as well just remain a baby in swaddling cloth. What pushes us up? What pushes us to the place of change, of radical transformation, is need. And in order to find that need, you must be willing to seek out the need. What can I do? What can I contribute? What can I take responsibility for? And how do I align myself with this responsibility on a daily basis to ensure I am giving my very best? Those are the virtues of a man born to lead. Those are the virtues of a man who is reliable. And reliability demands a final forgotten habit: generational responsibility. You see, ancient men lived with legacy in mind. They planted trees they would never sit under, built lives their children would inherit. When your actions affect more than just you, discipline stops being optional. A man who carries responsibility walks differently. He has a generation to think of. You see, these 7 habits built men who didn't need motivation. They didn't need hype. They didn't need constant encouragement. They built unshakable discipline, quiet, grounded, and enduring. My uncle told me something recently. He said, when I think of all the bills I have to pay, I wake up. If I leave you with nothing in this video, take that. Responsibility is the mother of habits that lead to change. Just as need is the mother of invention. We all get to choose what rope we want to walk on, and we get to choose the type of lives we want to live for ourselves, for our children, for the next generation. That said, if this resonated with you, please leave a like, subscribe, share the video. We are on our march to get to 1,000 subscribers. Leave a comment and let us know what you would like to see more of on the channel. I'm looking for feedback from you guys as always. Until next time, YouTube thinks you will love this next video. Love and light, guys. Stay safe.